What's up, everybody? RTA Special League is upon us for a mere 2 weeks, and that means a few very exciting things. Number one, it's only 4-star and below, which means no toxic LD Nat 5s like Artemio and Ragdoll, and you see a lot of the people that like to abuse those toxic LD 5s just happen to not be on the leaderboards. I can't possibly imagine why. The people that are still on leaderboards are the people that have good play styles, they know how to draft efficiently, they have really solid runes, and generally they're fast and very aggressive, and they also have, they do a lot of their wings every day. But with a lot of those, also the regular Nat 5s, a lot of the meta-defining regular Nat 5s, like the Gany Hathor stuff, is also out the window. So the meta has shifted very much. You still see things like Lauren and Fran and Vertiheel, but then you see more of those, which means that you can bring in more counters to those units specifically, and then there's a lot of counterplay that like doesn't exist because the Nat 5s aren't there. So it's a very different meta. It's got some wacky things in it, so I thought, let's take a look. I'm gonna just show, I just want to show a lot of different matches of a lot of different weird things and see what's working. The twins are back, cats everywhere, cats everywhere, cats everywhere, cats everywhere. You see Ileana some, which is really great. You see the Dark Sylph, you see, what else? More cats, even more cats. So, yeah, so let's take a look at the a lot of different matches, and let's see what the meta consists of. Here we go, let's get it started. So, Shimate first pick. It looks like they're both gonna cleave. They are both gonna, well, the Triana is, I guess they're realizing that they're gonna probably take second, although that Watercat might be on Swift. He bans the Kabila, which means that Watercat's probably on Swift, and he's hoping to outspeed. So he outspeeds. He was not able to take down the Julie though. The Julie just had good stats overall. He has to reduce he has to strip the attack gauge, the attack power buff, and reduce the attack gauge on the Lucian though, because otherwise he was going to take that imputation magic to the face. Unfortunately, Faye does not ignore defense for everyone. He goes for skill 2 on the bomber instead of the skill 3. That's the fast game. Cleave versus Cleave, very fast game. Who's faster? Who cuts in? Who does crazy nonsense? That's there you go. I mean, well, not Bastet. Megan is less attack gauge boost than Bastet though. We might have seen something a little bit different if the Megan had more attack gauge boost, but he banned the 120 speed booster, and that's why. Next match, what do we got here? We see some double cats, and we see a Triana Lauren right away. Fire BK, you never see Fire BK. Zen actually I've talked to before personally. So we see double cats, bans the Orion because they can't let them take turn 1, but Susanoo is apparently on Swift already, so he just nukes it down. So the Fire BK is the threat there. That's why he was trying to take it down. Summary Conviction doesn't kill though. So he needed the Summary Conviction to kill, but I would have already like assumed that wasn't gonna kill. So now it's gonna be, actually it's not gonna be that much of a problem because Lauren can still crit, kill as long as she doesn't crit. So I would actually go for the Vertiheel first with that Susanoo. So that's what he does. He goes for the Vertiheel first because it's gonna be harder to kill that cat, and I would just worry about the cat later. Even though it's hard to worry about the cat later because the cat's just gonna be pounding some damage into you while you're doing that. But Fairy's Blessing, can they? No, they don't. I was gonna say, can they keep that cat controlled? But the cat, see now it gets to be a little bit more challenging because this cat can go down in HP, but the cat doesn't really like you can't crit on the cat and kill it. But as long as the Triana can kill the cat, this is game. This is game. Triana's generally not going to be able to, unless they build the Triana with high DPS but not high crit rate. I don't know. That's already game though. But yeah, some crazy stuff. I was not expecting a Swift Susanoo, and it's crazy to see people actually building the Fire BK. I did a video on it not too long ago. It's crazy to see people actually building the Fire BK now. Very cool. It is a counter to the Dark Cat. It is a counter to Triana. It is a counter to Garrow. So that's several things in Special League, 4-star and under. That it's, what else is a counter to? It doesn't matter. I'm sure it's a counter to other stuff, but it's an interesting unit that not too many people really think about, but it's actually seeing some play in Special League. This is what I like to see. I like to see someone fighting A. Lopez and Cookie Monster. picks the light see, this is crazy. Like, it's cool to see things that we don't normally see. The light succubus is a really interesting unit that we don't usually get to see, and we finally get to see her in Special League. So actually gets the glancing and the slow on the Garrow, which actually nerfs the Garrow's damage, because if you think about his damage, his first skill is based on speed, his second skill is not based on speed, his second skill is based on just attack power. Kills the Lucia, gets a stun on the... Ooh. She's gonna have a lot of control though, that light succubus. But there's no sustain on that. Well, there's actually no sustain on really either team. But there's gonna be a lot of control if they continue to keep that control up with that succubus, and that's on violent. It's on violent. Remember, the first skill of the succubus sleeps with a really good chance to sleep too. See, that glancing didn't do anything to the succubus. Sleeps with a really good chance to sleep. And also increases the attack gauge. So with that and on violent, she's gonna be taking a lot of turns. So is this? They get the CC on the. Look at that. The sleeps, the CCs, lots and lots and lots of CCs. I think that's just game at this point. The Ajir, I mean, can only do so much. The Ajir can come back if he just continues to solo. His turn cycle with that skill 3, but it's just not gonna happen. Like that Leech was gonna cut in at some point anyway. Again, first picks immunity. That seems to be a trend, if you notice. First picks immunity and crazy things that are gonna like outspeed. So we're probably gonna see crazy fast Watercat again, and this cat is going to outspeed. It outspeeds the Lorne, of course. And then we've got the immunity on the one side. The immunity was banned on the other side, and the Leebly was banned as well. And that's enough. With that attack power buff, it doesn't even need a defense break. That's just enough to kill things. That Watercat is also used pretty commonly against. That was a weirdly fast match. But that Watercat is generally used against, because it's got really high base speed. It's generally used against the Vertiheals, because you can just outspeed and snipe the Vertiheals, because it gets extra damage, it gets an extra hit, and then also the Daphnis. So that's one of the reasons that the Light Cat has been, or where the the Water Cat has kind of come into play in the meta. So this one on the right-hand side, Obabo is actually using the Iris. You know what? Iris is a better pick in Special League than she is in normal arena, because of you have the Diana, you have the Fengyang that you can pick into that. Also, a lot of people have Revenge Vertiheals and Ragdolls and things like that. So Iris is actually a much safer pick in Special League. Especially the, oh my god, the Iris and Vertiheal and Fire Inugami is so deadly. That's just such a toxic team. Oh my god, that team up is so insane. It really is. That's a brutal team. Yeah. Well, that went as I expected, actually. It took me a second to realize like the exact impact of the team up with the Vertiheal and the Iris, and I mean the Shimate is just reducing the cooldown on his skill 3 control, but yeah, that's pretty toxic. See, this is what I love about 4-star Special League. Things are just wacky. Like this comp on the left, and the comp on the right too. The comp on the right is a little bit more realistic to see in regular RTA. They banned the Orochi, but the comp on the left, like that, the ban the Orochi though. That's a weird ban. Does anyone else think that's a weird ban? I was not expecting the Orochi to be banned, but like you would never see this in regular RTA. Never. Especially in Guardian, right? I mean, you would see it maybe in, like, Fighter 1, but you'd never see it in Guardian. Orochi. Why are they banning Orochi? Maybe I'm missing something. Why are they banning Orochi? I'm really contemplating why they banned the Orochi now. Maybe, you know what, maybe they knew something that, maybe it was a 7,000 speed Orochi, and they knew something that I didn't know. It's just interesting. I'm trying to think of why they were. Anyway, it's still pretty crazy though. But that's not a bad team. They have speed lead. They outspeed things. They nuke with a bunch of things. Defense break strips and nukes. So, I mean, with the additional turns, that's we'll just call this game. We'll just call this game. I think this game. More crazy comps you would not see in normal arena. So, Orion actually has a low win rate in normal RTA. We could talk about why Orion. So they banned the most likely going to be on Swift Watercat because you're probably going to nuke either Vertiheal or Fire Nagami, and they wanted to keep their fire units alive. Right? So that's why they banned the Watercat. She was probably insanely fast on Swift, but they got the Orion. The Orion actually has a low win rate in normal RTA because if you consider everyone to be on will runes and there's 4 different targets that they randomly hit, that's a pretty brutal AoE defense break and nuke, by the way. So it's down to 2, and then the Fire Nagami gonna Violent Proc and go crazy, right? Oh well, kill things and doesn't even need a Violent Proc, right? And then the turn cycling, and then the more turn cycling, and then the more and oh, he did Violent Proc. He did Violent Proc and go crazy. Now it's just a matter of like, what kind of crazy stuff can Orion do? Right? As soon as they get that Fire Nagami down though, I think it should be fine. Can they get a defense break on the Fire Nagami? Oh, I guess Vertiheal. As soon as they get the Vertiheal down. Crit damage Orion. Hold on guys, let's see the crit damage Orion. Okay, so now it should be fine, yeah. Because then Orion is really strong against a single target. Orion's really strong against a single target because he will strip, defense break, heal block, and stun. And then whereas like Orion goes into something with 4 units on will runes, like in normal RTA, especially a lot of the wind units like Gany, Hathor, stuff like that. Orion just like, he's like, I'm gonna not really do too much of anything, and maybe you strip one, but you get a stun on the other, but you didn't strip the immunity, so really the stun didn't even count. So yeah, Orion actually has a pretty low win rate in normal season though. This one starts out normal. You see some normal picks at the beginning, and then it gets a little bit weird because Light Magic Archer. So Light Magic Archer, I've tried this too, actually, myself. Maybe 3-4 months ago. Light Magic Archer's second skill is based on speed. The third skill has a stun and a defense break. See, I wouldn't have gone for that. I wouldn't have gone for the Huadem because usually the Huadem is stacked HP and defense. So you generally need, that was a fast nuke on that Fire Nagami. You generally need a defense break on, you really need a defense break on Huadem or ignore defense to really snipe him. It's hard to try to go for the Huadem first. But I mean, the Huadem, Zen knew what they were doing when they picked the Huadem to keep the other squishies alive with a single target cleave. Right, because that's what they were doing. They were using single target units to cleave. And yeah, the Huadem is actually a really nice pick against the Fire Nagami because the Fire Nagami can't get any more turns with his Annihilate passive when he kills things because Huadem will just keep them alive and just suck up the HP from Huadem, and then the things can't die. So yeah, Huadem is actually a decent pick against the Fire Nagami. Okay, let's see some. First off, we're seeing Copper Bulldozer team on the left, and then the second one is using twins. So teams we maybe saw like a few 6 months ago in Special League, 6 months ago, something like that. So the Bulldozer is banned. They picked what was that last twin they picked? I didn't see the last twin that they picked, but he's gonna snipe something right off the bat. So the Water Frankenstein, if you guys are not familiar with the Water Frankenstein, he's immune to defense break, and he will also increase his attack gauge when he's attacked. So he's actually not that bad against Daphnis and Lauren. I've seen people picking him against Daphnis Lauren teams before. So AoE CC, he can still be CC'd, by the way, that Water Frankenstein, but the Olivia will still, I think the Olivia is unviolent, so she's gonna be able to still cleanse the CC off the Water Boomerang if he gets CC. Excuse me. And just does chip damage to the Bulldozer, right? So he's going for the Water Boomerang first. Going to give an additional turn to the Water Frankenstein just to be able to, because if you take out the Water Boomerang, you eliminate the team-ups from both Fire and Water Chakrams, right? So you ban one of them, and then you just try to kill the other Boomerang as soon as possible. So now he's just going to keep doing damage to the Tractor, and he keeps increasing the attack gauge as well. Remember, he can still get stunned, and there's no heal on the team, but additional turn. There we go. That's where it starts. Defense-based, defense scaling damage as well. Hammer Punch takes it out, and then that's basically, that should be game. I mean, the Chakram can stun with the skill 2 on the Tractor, but element disadvantage, and it's probably not gonna happen, right? This one should be a good one. So this is Gaia. I don't know if that's the Gaia, or is that a different Gaia? I have no idea. And Razith, who was one of the SWC competitors, bans the Triana, bans the immunity. Of course they're going to ban the immunity because they're using bombs. Double Bomber Special League, G2. Yes. Very exciting. They got a lot of shields though. And again, this is exactly why I was saying Orion is not really a great RTA unit, because he basically stripped nothing. They had so many buffs that he didn't get a chance to strip anything. There was also a very fast Fran as well. And now the bombs are on, and that's just game. That's just game double bombing G2. Right? Shield will bomb team. And also, shield will bomb team. But the bombs are also good against the Dark Cat as well. So if you think about it, the bombs can kill Dark Cat, no problem. Cat only has a problem if it gets crit on. So bombs completely bypass that. I really like that. I really like that team. So I really like the balls to take bombers. Malaka would appreciate, but the balls to take bombers into G2 Special League RTA. This one I want to see. So we see some crazy stuff in here. The second team is fairly standard. The first team using Ileana, which is great that people are actually using her now, and a water cannon girl, which you really don't see too much. And I mean, like, if you went back a year and showed someone this team that someone was using in Guardian RTA, they'd be like, you gotta be joking, right? You gotta be joking. So the Watercat, again, the reason for the Watercat is to counter like the Vertiheals and the Daphnis, things like that. Sometimes also the Fire Nagami as well. But you see the Watercat is doing what the Watercat does. Because not a lot of people put Will on the Vertiheals. It's usually on Revenge, which is pretty toxic on Revenge. Some people put it on Will, but most of the time they're on Revenge. And even if he went for the, like, even if he revenged the Watercat, chances he may not crit. So that was pretty crazy. Pretty crazy to see the Water Cannon Girl actually being picked. It's just such a, like, this comp would have not existed. It would never have been picked like 6 months ago, a year ago. And it's really crazy. It's really crazy, and it's really nice to be able to see some refreshing, different picks for RTA than the standard stuff. Very cool. Water Cannon Girl as well. She strips and she reduces the attack age on skill 3. This is another crazy one you would not have seen like 6 months ago, a year ago. You never would have. So it starts to get a little standard, and then you see Soren and you see Pang. Okay, so they have a few. Soren is a strip skill 2. Pang also does strip as well, and then they have the bomber. So he goes for some damage on Soren because that was a swift cat. That was okay. I wouldn't have thought that was speed tuned to go in that order. I would have kind of thought that it would have been speed tuned to go the opposite order. But bombs versus bombs. Oh wait, you see bombs being picked as a counter to the Dark Cat though, because the bombs, of course, we talked about that they don't crit, so you don't have to worry about that. I would have thought that would have been speed tuned differently though, to be honest, because that Dover was pretty fast. So does not die from the bombs, which is very good. Well, very good for them. Dark Gust gets another skill 2, which is a strip and stun. Guaranteed stun if it hits the same target. And now what? Now it's just gonna keep critting. So now that dot's just gonna kill. So the dot actually bypasses. The dot bypasses Huedam's passive, but yeah, Huedam was low on HP anyway. But the dot, just FYI, dots will bypass Huedam's passive. So if something is gonna die from a dot, it bypasses that. Same thing with the light vampire. You can kill it with dots, even if Huedam has higher HP. I don't know who this giraffe person is. They're picking insane things, and they're actually also on my favorites, so they must be like a G3, like G2, G3 normal player as well. But they're picking some crazy stuff. That's gotta be, what is on Swift? The Tiana is on Swift, it must be. And they got the double bombers. So, let's see. Sharp Strike. Additional turn. Hey, we get to see, even though his buff was rolled back. By the way, his buff was rolled back, that Lucas. So we get to see some good old resistance. Got a lucky resist. Is that gonna cost him the game? That resistance? Is that or not cost him win him the game with that resistance on there? Oh my god, because that's gonna take everyone out except for that Luke. Is this gonna be a Lucas solo? This thing we would never see. What? Why is Lucas soloing? Wait. Is this gonna be a Lucas solo or is this gonna not be a Lucas solo? I want to see it. Does extra damage based on... I mean, his buff was rolled back, too. Is he going to be able to kill... Oh, he gets an additional... Yeah, he gets an additional turn when the enemy's below 50% HP. So... that he had... I mean, it doesn't seem like he had sustain, but that shield is sustain. That's enough sustain to actually win with Lucas. I'm sorry. That's pretty crazy, right? That's pretty crazy. Okay, this guy is completely out of his mind. I just want you to see this. Next time you say I don't have RTA units, this guy's completely out of his mind. He picks the Dark Jack-o'-lantern. The Dark into Guardian. He's a Guardian player, right? He's like either G2 or G3. Like I said, he's either G2 or G3 in normal RTA. He just sniped that Garrow out completely. How you gonna pick the Dark Pumpkin? He's like the worst. I mean, maybe I'm wrong at this point. I don't know. Because when I think of the Dark Pumpkin, I'm like, he's one of the worst monsters in the game. He's one of the worst LD4s in the game. And this guy's like, nah, I'm going to win. I'm going to win in a Guardian level match. I'm going to win with the Dark Pumpkin because that's just what I'm going to do. Okay, well, this is a good example of runes. You know what? Maybe it's a good monster for the situation. It's just completely insane. Like, I worry about his mental health a little bit because the Dark Pumpkin. I mean, he would have won with anything. I feel like if he's winning with the Dark Pumpkin, he's gonna win with anything. It's just pretty nuts. And then Antares doing Antares things. Can he come back from this? I want to see the Dark Pumpkin beat the game. I want to see the Dark Pumpkin just destroy. Okay, so that's not a Swift Lauren. I was thinking that was actually gonna be on Swift. How much damage can this do? Because she can do her damage based on speed. So she can do a decent amount of damage with that. He's got death prevention. He's got revive. He's not going to death prevent against that Fire Lich because the Fire Lich is just going to hit multiple times. Unless it kills. You know what? I stand corrected. I happen to be standing corrected a lot in this match because there's a lot of things that I would not have expected. Like the Dark Jack-o'-lantern. Of course you're gonna revive the Dark Jack-o'-lantern, why wouldn't you? What a wacky everything, guys. Runes are important, because you can't pull this nonsense unless you have good runes. You cannot win with the Dark Jack-o'-lantern unless you have good runes. That's GG. Again, like I said, this is not like this is like a person they're having fun, they're goofing off, but they're normally like, I think they're normally like an LD5 abuser, but they're just like goofing off and picking like all kinds of random stuff with like OP runes. So you guys know I'm a fan of the Water Werewolf, right? Like in Guild Wars and stuff, I'm like, I built the Water Werewolf. But in RTA, Water Werewolf RTA, okay, he's picked into Garrow and Triana. It's good to have multi-hits against, and then the crit resist is really nice against the Verti-heal, so I understand that he's picked there. I'm just surprised to see him. He's an HP-based DPS unit. I do actually like him. He's not the worst pick. It's just I'm very shocked to see the Water Werewolf. But, you know, this is Special League. That's why. So, already takes down the Shimite, right? 2 fire DPS units, of course. Already takes that. Well, the Verti-heal is generally not a DPS unit. And we saw he didn't die too fast. So he's built tanky as usual. Is he able to? Yes, he is able to. So that's going to be crit damage on slot 4 on that Water Werewolf. But he's got the crit resist. And he's got the speed buff, which is going to be pretty he should take this Garrow down pretty easily. I think he's got one more turn before his skill 3, or does he have it now? No, he has it now. He procs Triana's passive because she had it up again already. But hopefully they're able to proc with Orion. He already has the crit resist buff off though. So it's not a crazy long crit resist. What is the skill? I'm trying to remember what the skill cooldowns on all of his skills are, though. Don't tell me Triana passive is up again. Please don't tell me Triana passive is up again. It's more turn cycling, more crit resist, which is nice. Fairy's Blessing, so he gets the immunity. So it's gonna be really hard to kill those things. And then the Shred is just gonna kill this time, even with that defense break. It doesn't matter, right? So GG. And maybe he just thought that the Dark Cat wasn't going to be able to, because maybe I'm sure the Water Werewolf is not 100% crit rate, right? I don't think he awakens into crit rate. He might awaken into speed because he's got 115 base speed. So yeah, just weird to see the Water Werewolf. All right, so here we have Bloody Claw, who is known for, he's on global, he's known for his crazy high rune efficiency. He's got some insane runes. I think he was legend a few times, wasn't he? And then we have a Chinese player, G3 player, who's double death prevention. Double death prevention. So he's got the defense break on the Hwadam. He's gonna go for the airbender. Is that gonna be enough to... That's enough to kill. That procced Triana's passive. So that was enough to kill the Hwadam. And Hwadams are generally built like 40,000 plus HP. So... He banned the, what did he ban? The Lucian, right? So he banned the Lucian. And he's got enough to deal with the Garo. I think he's actually... I think the Chinese player should be fine. Because he just got enough sustain to keep going and keep stripping. Unless Draco can proc into his defense break again. And he lands it too. Well, he lands it, but it's only a one-turn defense break. So it's already off, unfortunately. And it just sucks up some from Hwadam. That's one of the unfortunate things about the Cleaves. Like, as long as you can withstand the initial burst and you have some sustain, then you generally are not in such a bad spot. Because usually Cleaves are not really designed to last a whole long time. That was enough to kill the Garo already. Oh my god. But Bloody Claw's got some really crazy runes. So that also did the attack power buff and the attack power break and the glancing on the Garo, which limits his DPS quite a lot. But this Ajir should be able to, unless the Garo can start critting on Ajir, this Ajir should be able to handle the Garo pretty easily. Yeah. So the Garo was, I guess, not super tanky, considering the Garos are usually not built super tanky, but that Triana procced Garo's passive. So, I can only imagine, because I know Bloody Claw's got crazy runes, so I can only imagine how crazy the Chinese players' runes are. Alright guys, that's it for this one. I hope you enjoyed it. I just wanted to show a large variety of different RHA Special League comps. Unfortunately, this is only 2 weeks long, and it already started a couple days ago, because this is like the most exciting and different change of pace in RTA that we've seen in quite a while, because usually it's Gany Hathor, LD5s, abuse all the broken units. You kind of still abuse some of the broken units like Fran, Lauren, Vertigo, things like that. But there's a lot more counters, there's a lot more cleaves, it's just different. It's nice, it's refreshing, it's different. And you're able to use a lot of the monsters that you normally wouldn't. It's also a lot more, it's kind of more free-to-play friendly because you don't need the broken OP LD5s and broken OP like Gany Hathor or whatever. You can do a lot with especially the Second Awakened monsters, and it's all fairly attainable units for the most part in 4-star max Special League, which is crazy. And runes are king. It's all about who farmed the most runes, who's been grinded, and who's the best at pick bans and being most efficient with their runes. It's some RNG as well. But why did I say it like that? RNG. It's some RNG as well. But anyway, that's it for this one. Hope you guys enjoyed it. I need sleep. I will see you as always in the next one.